We're only a few weeks into summer over here at the Natural household, and already I'm hearing, "Mom, I'm bored." Well, I'm doing something about it in this week's Soul Food. Welcome to this week's Soul Food, where we talk about what nourishes us, body, mind, and spirit. I have to say, summer is here in our household, and it's so wild because this is actually the first time I've been in Florida in the month of June, and you would not believe the noises we hear at night. Those are frogs, believe it or not. And I guess it gets even crazier when the alligators start making their mating calls or something like that. So things I get to look forward to, but I actually love it. But anyways, we are well into summer. Griffin's been doing a couple VBS camps, which is Vacation Bible School. Now this is not something that's big in the north, at least where we used to live. Here it is huge. So literally every week he's got a different camp. He's learning about Jesus. He's connecting with a lot of friends because it's kind of a small town here. And these camps are free. I'm like, what is going on? This is crazy. So that's definitely been keeping him entertained, but they're not all day affairs. They're just a couple hours either in the morning or the afternoon. So I've been hearing a lot of complaining already about how Griffin is bored and Paloma's bored and they want to watch TV and what can they do and da da da. So I've been kind of thinking like, okay, this is a different schedule, right? We're in a different space right now. We're in the summer. So I kind of thought about what could we do? And I saw a post on my friend's blog, Wellness Mama, maybe you know her. She just put a post up about adventure points. So her whole idea is throughout the summer when kids like to get bored and they want to watch a lot of TV, you have little goals that they have to reach. Like maybe it's reading for a half hour or exercising for a half hour. And if they do those, they get a certain amount of points. And then those points add up and they can purchase something like an ice cream cone or maybe going to an adventure park or something like that. So I started kind of loosely, thinking about how I could do this for Griffin. And let me just tell you very quickly, it became all about the points. Okay, I mean, he's very competitive. So it's like, how many points? Mom, how many points? He needed like a constant play-by-play of like how many points he had and what was up in the running. And I found myself, I'm like, this is not working because he wasn't even enjoying whatever he was doing because it was all about the points. So I'm like, okay, let's not do that. We're going to try something different. But I think it's a beautiful idea and I'm sure it works for lots of other kids. But so instead, I'm like, let's just make a summer schedule, okay? And let's just write it out and we'll post it. And that way Griffin can look and see what's next. And we'll make it really well balanced, so there's some leisure time, there is some screen time, there's some activities that we do every day, and there's just a nice flow to it. And it's not something you have to follow rigidly, but it's just a guidepost for us. And let me just tell you, it's been game changing, okay, for every single member in our family because Griffin is getting his needs met, I'm getting my needs met, Paloma's getting her needs met, and Papa Natural's getting his needs met. So it's really a beautiful thing. But probably the most profound awareness that I've had through doing this has been the mornings, okay? And there is a book called The Miracle Morning. And really the whole premise of the book is that first hour of the day is so sacred and so important. And how are you going to spend that time to really set the tone for your day? I mean, you hear about that thing where it's like, oh, you know what? She woke up on the wrong side of the bed, right? It's like if you start your day on the wrong foot, just like your whole day is kind of blown. I believe personally breakfast is the most important meal of the day. If we eat a well-balanced, healthy breakfast, our blood sugars are good for the rest of the day. So I really think there's something to this idea about your morning. So what we've been finding with Griffin is once it started getting lighter earlier, I tend to let him watch his screen time in the morning because I wanted to rest a little bit more and sleep in a little bit more because he's my early riser. And so I'm like, okay, you can use your screen time for the morning. He only gets an hour a day, and that's not every single day. It's most days, depending on what's going on. So like, okay, that's your time to do it. There you go. So then I would get up, maybe an hour later and be like, okay, Griff, let's do something. And it was kind of like his whole day. He was just like in a funk. And I really have realized through rescheduling our day, now what we do in that first hour is we connect. We're playing Legos. We might go out and feed the fish out on the pond. We might read stories together, whatever, but we're just connecting as, mom and son. And Papa Natural and Paloma are still sleeping, but we're connecting. And then we'll make breakfast together, we'll eat, and then we go brush our teeth, we get dressed for the day, and then I'll have Griffin make his bed. And we just have this hour of connection and really being together. And it has made such a big difference. Griffin is just acting like he's filled, like his spiritual tank is filled up. And the whole day, he's just even keeled. He's not losing his temper as much. He's not picking on fights with Paloma. He's not talking back. I mean, it's just been awesome. So it really got me thinking, wow, that first hour is so important. And right now, I'm kind of sacrificing my first hour to really be with my kid, and that's fine because that's what he needs right now. And I'm trying to work myself into the place where I'm getting up an hour earlier myself so that I can have time to do some things for myself. But it's all good, And in my schedule, Michael actually puts the kids down. So from 6:30 on, he's in charge, he puts the kids down, and that's kind of my miracle morning at the end of the day. But I wanted to open up the question to you. How do you spend your first hour of the day, and how do your kids spend their first hour of the day? I just want to walk through our summer schedule really quickly. If you are watching this on YouTube, you can go to my blog, mamanatural.com, and this post is up. It's the first post, and you can see more specifically all the details. Because I'm not going to run through everything, but just a couple little important moments here is every day we have two times of physical activity, because I think that's really important for kids. So we'll ride the, bike around the block. We might do races in the house. We might, just go for a walk. So that's something that's really important. I also have a time for chores every day, and this has been huge because I think before I'd be like, just randomly, Griffin, do this, or Paloma, time to do this. And it just never really went well. But now there's a dedicated time. They know there's a beginning and an end. Even Paloma's getting into it, which is huge. And it's been fun. So that's something we have included. We also have a quiet time in mid-afternoon, which is huge for Mama. So Paloma goes down for her nap. Griffin no longer naps, obviously, but he gets a quiet time. So he can play if he wants to independently. He can do whatever he wants to do, but it's just a time for quiet. So Mom gets to get some recharge in her own batteries. We also have some writing or activity art time because Griffin really doesn't like to do crafts or art or draw or use pens or pencils, but it's really important for kind of those motor skills for him to be practicing. So we have a half hour of doing that most days, and that's the thing about this schedule. Sometimes we go to the pool in the afternoon or we go to the beach or we do something else and, this doesn't all happen, but for most days we can use it as a guidepost. And then we also have, which has been a really big game changer for me, is clean up before dinner. Because a lot of times at the end of the day, our house looks like a tornado hit it. And then we eat dinner and everyone's exhausted for the day. And then it's like, oh, we got to clean up. And it's just a painful experience. Now we do it before they get to eat the yummy dinner. And they're highly motivated and we get her done. Sometimes I'll even put on music. So that's been really game changing. Okay, here we go with some of the meals we ate this week. All right, I'm just gonna focus on Griffin's meals this time. So he loves to wake up and have this delicious waffle. It's a protein-based waffle. The recipe's on my blog, and he has it almost every day. This is some salmon, his favorite protein, cherry tomatoes, and a sprouted corn tortilla with pesto. These are lentils with olive oil and sea salt, a cabbage slaw, raw cheese, and some olives. These are some tacos. I've made up this little trick to use these clips. It really helps them eat tacos well. And finally, I love to give my kids healthy treats here and there. And so this is a grain-free pumpkin pie.
Wow, look at that. Whoa, wow. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Thank you so much for watching this week's Soul Food. I would love to hear from you. Again, how do you spend your first hour of the day and how do your kids spend their first hour? Share with me in the comments below, and thanks as always for tuning in.